You still fancy LFY to take this into?
I think so. After watching game 1, I think LFY handles the details very well. I think, well, I don't want to say this like as a region in general, but again, like these teams are very polished, just in general, like Chinese teams compared to some of the.
Are you saying North American teams aren't, Jack?
Well, maybe I don't know.
You're
Maybe it's a little
away.
bit inconsistent sometimes.
He's on a North American team, and then he's like from China. He's like, you know, it's his parents choosing between a divorce or something.
Yeah, he's kind of stuck there a little bit, isn't he? Like we'll pull him apart afterwards. Time to hand you over to our commentary team for game number 2. Complexity down by a game, but not all is lost because a draw would mean the teams split the points. Let's find out how I get on in game number 2.
Well, it's so obvious now, Blitz. Obviously, the rust-covered Americans are incapable of winning this game, and LFY will take game 2.
What? I don't agree with that. Mainly because you just called what, rust-covered Americans?
Yeah? Hey, I'm just listening to our analyst, man. That's what Jack was going for.
Jack said that, man.
I'm glad you're watching. I'm glad you're watching. Well, we can get our tetanus shots later as America can get cured. Complexity.
See, this is
bringing in the Enchantress, bringing in the Tide, bringing the new and improved Templar Assassin. Okay, not that improved, but
it's kind of cool. The bonus damage from the traps is like, it's cute.
It's that it's the timing as well, right? Timing to actually get to max. I think that got that also got changed.
I actually haven't played the new TA yet.
But you haven't had really that many opportunities to.
No,
Catch on the came out last night. Already a bit of a rune contest as Moo and Kyle try and force them out, but LFY win the 3 bounty rune game at least.
There's 1 bounty rune left. Oh.
Yeah, Kyle's coming back for it.
That's crazy that tree grab doesn't cost that much mana. Like only 20? That's nothing.
Would you like to nerf it? That's not like having an Aghanim's at level 1, right?
Yeah, it's not the same. That's mid, super. This is like pretty trademark for him. If there's a hero that I associated with him aside from his DK, it's his DP. The D heroes.
And Inflame is really pulling this creep wave hard. Zfreek can't chase it much further. Oh, there's Tree Toss. And the melon will be cracked in the bottom lane.
That is an unexpected first blood, especially since Tidehunter, like one of the tankier offlaners, but he has Gush level 1, so no Kraken Shell, no tank.
That's how he's trying to work. They are pretty, well, I don't want to say, they're big bones on that bottom lane with the 2 heroes, Kyle and Moo together.
Yeah, but they don't have that tankiness yet on that Tidehunter. Like, it's not through his stats, which are pretty good. I mean, 600 HP is nothing to sneer at, but this Tiny's rocking 900, Toby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. He's a real hero, you know? Like,
oh, the tree toss. That's gotta hurt. Just getting a giant tree tossed into your face every so often.
You know, this is why you need the Timbersaw against the Tiny.
Nah.
Just take away the trees.
What you should be able to do is like, there should be an option to eat the tree in the air. Like tango it, if you're really fast.
You can go for like a skill grab on the tree.
Yeah, if you're that's how you take Dota to the next level. It's like if you really want to be skilled, you should give people the ability to just like tango.
Well, that's when you have like
mid-air.
Quelling Blades. Like you're trying to recreate like an action sequence like with Wolverine, where you just put your claws and just like slice into when it flies at you.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I mean, it wouldn't be probably like realistic and stuff, but it's like, come on, what's realistic about this game? Like, a tiny man is like holding up a tree and like chucking it at people after using it as like a weapon a few times. Anything possible.
Yeah, there's so many things in this game too which like don't match up as well. Like, how many abilities are magical? Which like, man, I'm fairly certain that's a physical attack.
Yeah. The balance alone makes no sense. He's so small. He struggled to carry it. There's no way that he's able to get like the momentum to swing it.
I hate little people do big things.
And he's like, he's gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
Over time.
Grow up.
And
Zfreek try to have a little bit more fun with Inflame DDC. You kind of get attacked before by Zfreek and brought down pretty low thanks to that setup. Having easy. He'll do good slide up bottom lane. They're having a bit of a play around.
Yeah, Ahfu just wants to use his stun because he got an arcane rune. He also doesn't want to commit too hard for it.
He's going to fall LaNm gushed up and have a hard time getting away.
Yeah, that's really throwing me off, that gush level one. But it's okay.
With Kraken covered. You can't get much more space because the Ogre is... Okay, the Ogre's actually backed off now, so he does have to hit 3.
And Monet even used 3, getting some deny. Ooh, gently like brushes you with it.
Sounds like a rustling bark. Like when he like other attacks.
I'm obsessed with this hero. It's just so cool. Mid lane. Gonna get tied up. Now it's gonna trying to come mid. Press things up a little bit. Make things easier for your TA, who is kind of getting crushed in this mid lane so far. Difference of 300 gold so far.
Going to begin. Here comes Paralyzing Cask. They're going to get a good bounce. Oh, it's going to stick on Kyle. And here comes Ahfu. So quick, slithering forward. Not even required, but the crush will hit it into Limmp. There is one lane and one here we haven't even talked about yet, and it almost feels like a TC kind of style hero for an American side. Right, a safe one.
That is the name I haven't heard quite some time.
TC.
Yeah, this Razor has gone relatively uncontested. Up's net worth. We saw the Razor Omni weird matchup in the other game, the HG one. So the Razor pretty much free farms against it. Omni can't really do too much for the most part. He's just like spamming any kills when he can, and Zfreek even making this aggressive rotation in, which Doctor doesn't quite have cast yet though.
Double fit him on bottom lane, and well, I say that Monet no longer has his tree, so GG.
Yeah, with no tree.
But this Paralyzing Cask making it very difficult for Zfreek to at least get the initiation that he wants. He's not losing his creeps to it.
Yeah. He's just gonna fire in. Creep shockwave, but
this is the type of hero I just have complexity for Zfreek. Something which is able to really dictate the game and showcase his skill as a player.
Where do you rate him, Kpii?
Zfreek?
Big fan?
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Zfreek. I'd love to see what he can do if he's on like another team at some point.
Hold that thought, man.
I will that for about, well, no, until Windows dies, because they're never going to disappear. Like, never going to separate.
Ahfu pausing the game. Probably another tech.
Kali.
I think that this squad though can have a lot of success. They probably just like haven't quite gotten over that hump yet, like because things are like pretty good for them, but
something is wrong somewhere.
I mean, they're a good team. They got 4th, I think, when they played what was that event? Like Star Ladder? They just like haven't quite put it all together yet, but I don't know if they're that far away from doing so.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of tournaments, a lot of room to grow, and they got a lot of time to do it.
Yes, sir. So far in this one, it's been a rough start for them.
Yeah, like that's also like the worst game one you can think of, right? Like you've wonderfully shut down a PA, and then you give just one free kill on top, which gives a little bit of strength, but then it's the triple kill that came directly after that. It's like, okay, well, we kind of missed our window. We had our IO Tiny. We lost with the IO Tiny. And now LFY are going to play the Tiny against them. I'm hoping mentally Complexity can stay on top of things. They are a very emotional team. Any team with Kyle, of course, does go down that line. They're very good at riding the wave of winning. It's one of those times when I never really want to like doubt Complexity. It's like the way I used to doubt MVP, and then I learned not to.
Oh, that was hilarious.
You wouldn't stop giving me crap about that.
I mean, because it was just a funny situation, man. Sometimes you got to be wrong about stuff. And that was godlike. I'm gonna tell that story sometime. That was good.
You've told that story a couple of times already, I think.
Yeah. Set the stage. Just TI4. VP. You know, the Koreans are finally coming up. Toby said, they've got 0 chance at beating VP. And I said, Toby, I'm not sure, man. I told him they beat DK in some scrims, and he said, whoever told you that is lying. They've got 0 shot. But, you know, miracles happen.
Yeah. I always, like, it's always a double-sided edge. Like, I'm happy to be wrong, mainly because when it comes to the cast, I actually am legitimately surprised. So, emotion equal pure.
But the thing is, what both these teams, like, they don't have... I mean, they've got some standout players, but for the most part, like, LFY and Complexity, they kind of base things more on teamwork. Like, both these sides, they don't have that, like, superstar player, necessarily. They're just, like, solid across the board, and they make that work, and I think that's really cool to see, like, the value of hard work, where it brings teams like this. Like, both these teams, for me, like, mirror in that sense. I mean,
so, I actually look for, like, the highlight players from both these teams, and then the support players that do the work, and then it just gels everything else together. Like, Ahfu and Zfreek, for me, like, they just do so much for both of their sides.
That's a crazy looking tight set. And
you would think you'd have back problems, right?
I think it's okay.
You'd also think you'd have legal problems. I think Bioshock would like their intellectual property back.
It's the weirder thing is like just the balance of like holding that giant thing up. But the tree, clearly gravity doesn't like apply very well in the game.
Well, how else would you do it? Like, there was the bug with one of Tiny's cosmetics where it'd make him look like he was just sliding on his side when he'd move forward, which would be accurate.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But is that one way to balance the tree? Limmp, well, he's in trouble. Super as well as DDC. Now you got defensive refraction, but Super, he's still got more. Cypher's up his sleeve. Limmp under the tower. DDC, did he grab the aggro in time? Now the troll trap is here. You've got Zfreek's rotation. Super, not anything else left in the tank. He'll go down to Zfreek. And the carrying Enchantress is on her way.
And that's a very big pickup for them. If they get nothing out of that, very unfortunate. But instead, they do get the return kill. It goes on the Enchantress. Player that you did want to see, Zfreek.
Now they're going to go for Moo. God damn, Monet. He's still hitting so hard now with the avalanche toss. So is this the kind of when you pick up a tree, your movement speed should be slowed because obviously your weight has increased?
Nah, if anything, it makes you go faster. You're not really able to see where you're going, so you're just like tipping forward.
Forward momentum, nice rooting, and a heavy amount of damage in for Chessie. Purification will not save Inflame there.
Very well done so far by Complexity. At the same time, Gold Bleach still in favor of LFY. But this Razor has gone untouched. And a better hero overall for Chessie to be able to scale. That last game, it felt like it was an inevitability for them to lose once the Tiny died. This time around, he's got a hero that can equally scale with his brother as...
They want to go again on bottom. Moo. Oh, Moo. Into the trees. Ahfu's going to get that clamp off. Not going to happen.
Very nice juke as he makes it away. Round.
Inflame. Ignite's going to try and slow him down. So he had the movement speed. He does to get back at 312. Reaches the tier 2 tower. And the safety of the coconut of DDC. Super again. That is just a graphical glitch. He is actually spirit siphoning the Templar Assassin.
So far, so good. They're going to make their way around. They know that this Omni Knight doesn't have repel.
He stopped for a second. The troll backs up for a half moment. And they're trying to avoid the coconut doing the work. And Chessie, he can just reach with that lightning whip.
217 damage a hit. He wants to push this tower right now. He wants to get some free hits on this tower. He's going to do so. Fort is instantly going to get popped in mid. One after another.
I actually wonder how much pop damage you can do with your traps now. Oh, another attack. Creep Wave's having a hard time sticking up with Super. Kyle rotation in as well.
A soldier's fortune.
Nothing but stealing. Avalanche. Oh, it barely connects to Monet. Where they can toss the watermelon like a salad. Moo around the tree. Try and juke it out. Won't work. Kyle can't get there in time.
They're going to turn back around on this.
Oh, wow.
He's got stunned in 1 second.
And Monet, well, cut through. Picks up a tree, and now slapping in Kyle with the Maledict and the paralyzing cast. He'll catch Chessie and Limmp. Monet starts his TP out. A little bit more trouble for Ahfu. He will fall.
But once again, they get the better trade of it, grabbing a core. At the same time, with that tier 1 tower being taking Complexity in an okay position as Chessie starting to rack up a lot of gold on himself. He's going to start this ancient camp with Limmp. But Limmp desperately needs something. He is quite far behind in this game right now. Not a lot of gold to his name, not a lot of farm. Almost a full 1,000 net worth behind this Death Prophet. In fact, is so.
Well, his advantage is he's pretty good at farming up Ancients, even with 2 points up in side blades. But he needs the space to be created for this, and it's a little too obvious when no one is in the mid lane. And how long will it take before LFY just start forcing down buildings and restricting this area where they can farm? It's exactly what they're doing as they move towards the top lane at the cover of smoke. Prep work being done by Omni Knight to get in around the back.
That was like perfect timing here. Like, when will they go for it as soon as they smoked?
Yeah.
And now, Moo, who's absolutely been obliterated in this game.
They know where Zfreek is. Ahfu. Oh, Zfreek doesn't have a control creep. He's got a really decent amount of regeneration, but with both Exorcism and Spirit Siphon, that's a hard place to survive.
Chessie, though, got a kill at that bottom lane. They went for the dive on the Witch Doctor, was successful, and I think they want to continue this with the Death Prophet ult expended. Moo.
Yeah, but they're going to lose top lane. Like, you've got Exorcism out. Moo just has his TP out, so a tier 1 tower on the top lane is guaranteed to go down on Complexity's side. Not so much at the bottom because Razor has no more of that stolen damage.
Yeah, and Super said very good use of his ultimate. Gets a kill, softens up that tower. He's probably going to want to commit for this one.
Yeah.
With the TP out on the Time Hunter, very unlikely that they can for the defense of this.
There's also a new catapult wave arriving for LFY, so Inflame is able to just choke up the Complexity one.
Gold lead just going back and forth based on the towers. As once again it swings in LFY's favor as a result of this top tower being taken, but it's really quite close.
Just seems like, again, like we find ourselves in this position with Complexity where, like, obviously it happened later into game 1, but it's one hero who has most of the power. And that's from the Razor Templar Assassin with absolutely nothing. You've sacrificed on multiple lanes to ensure the Razors had a good start. How does this now pay off? Like, do you get utility items? Do you get the aggressive, like when he's going stat items with the S and Y?
Yeah, I think this is one of the better ways to keep up with the Tiny, who does have a very good base for move speed. And you just need these mid-game items to be able to kite, work your way around. EKB, not ultra effective this game.
No Blink Dagger for Tiny. He goes Shadow Blade. Finds Chessie.
A lot of damage.
TP support's coming in. There's the Avalanche toss. Ahfu needs to close the distance.
Look at this speed.
And now toss him forward. Chessie, he is just so damn fast.
He's gonna toss.
No! Oh, he tosses in Ahfu. Well, this is why you need a Blink Dagger. You've got yourself.
Incoming.
Don't tell the elf. Gotta keep up with movie references. Tiny as Aragorn.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
Joke's never as good when you have to explain it.
Then what's the joke good, Toby? To begin with?
It was just not to you.
Joke was on Razor though, as he gets squashed by the weight of the Slardar.
Now it's Moo's turn. Invis, Ravage available. It's difficult to kill off Super. They need a lot of extra help to come in. And Super, Spirit Siphon, one charges up. And here comes your paralyzing cast.
Really nice cast.
Super! He lives through this for all the solid damage. He's down to one. Chessie will pop to Maladin. Ahfu will take the experience. But the ultimate coconut.
Chessie just respawned for that, Toby. He just came back into the game. Consecutive deaths. Not the kind of start that they were exactly hoping for, as Complexity. Oh, that hurts.
Oh boy.
Dying back to back like a core, especially in that fashion, that was supposed to be a very easy kill on the Death Prophet.
You can see it again with that start from Moo. They got the lockdown stunts, but he got his one charges up before Kyle actually hit him with the blast.
Yeah, and he even turns around for the second Spirit Siphon, barely keeps him alive. That final tick, 11 HP was how low he got. Even gets the kill on Moo to add insult to injury. DDC, such a great support player.
Right time, right place. His disruptor from game 1 was perfect.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing him again with with probably like the double ulti hero.
Yeah. And now they're making their way around to mid. Monet has that tree available. Shadow bladed up.
Chessie. Got a purification. Amplification damage is just, yeah.
Third death.
Welcome to Dota.
Yeah, third death in as many minutes, I think. Like
Yeah, it may even be less than that. Like it may even be like in 2, considering how fast it's all moved.
And despite that, I mean, gold lead is not really that favorable for LFY. Everybody is still doing a decent job of keeping up. I mean, that's largely on the fact that this Witch Doctor has 0 net worth, but with this Roshan, things are going to look a little bit different here. Super going to pop the Exorcism for it with the amplified damage. Not a whole lot complexity to do, even if they were aware of this, and they are. They were sitting under a trap on the wall.
Like, you want to jump in, however, like you got a Blink Dagger over on a Slaughter who's just creating space. Amplifies on Limmp, will crush him. It's more distraction. And Ahfu can quickly get back now with the new changes for him just to, well, be even slippery on wet.
When you make that aggressive move forward, Toby, everyone thinks that there are people behind you.
Yeah. It's like, wait, were they baiting Roshan? Monet doesn't have his Blink Dagger. He's only got that Shadow Blade to work with, but knows exactly where sort of knows exactly where Zfreek is. Oops! Got the wrong one to throw it back, but it won't matter. That's the Observer Ward. Actually, was it? No, that was the Dire Observer Ward. Their Radiant one was a little bit further north.
And that's only 1 level of untouchable. So Tiny still swings pretty hard and pretty fast. That is not a very tanky Enchantress that we're used to seeing, and Inflame is starting to catch back up now as he gets gone on Limmp with the Blink Dagger, makes his way forward, but this feels more like a desperation attempt.
There's extra help. You've got him rotating over, but that stun is not going to be in range. Inflame completes the TP before Kaka can get in range for the Fire Blast.
Yeah, look at the cast range on that level 1 Fire Blast without the cast range talent. It's so unbelievably low. Another failed attempt for Complexity, who is still doing a very good job of keeping up as a result of just farming a lot of these Ancients. They're still shoving in the waves quite aggressively.
Yeah, but it's getting out of control when LFY are the ones dictating the pace of this game. And the Razor just can't stand. Like we talked about like how great the start was for Razor. What then happens? Like, what items do you buy? What do you transition into? You die back-to-back 3 or back-to-back-to-back. And that talk of transition doesn't exist anymore. It's like, how do I not die?
Well, at bottom, power.
And Moo can't stop it.
Moo, I mean, we saw earlier today, it felt like Tidehunter was unkillable, but this Tidehunter
he's very killable.
Fairly easily.
But he's just got no, like stat items. Like, Raindrops is the best protection he's got at the moment.
Yeah. In the other game that we saw, of course, he was quite farmed. Had a full pipe completed on himself. Not easy to take down whatsoever, but in this game, like you said, one of the easier heroes to deal with.
Really well moved by LFY there. They realize that the attack is coming in from Complexity. They actually put an Observer Ward down, I believe, when Complexity smoked. That's the Observer Ward just north of the Ancients of Complexity.
Right, starting to get into a fight with Moo. But pace of the game slowing down a little bit here.
Zfreek, don't reveal yourself in mid. Oh, he's dead.
That's not for certain.
They had 2 coming from the north, the 1 coming from the front.
There was a... Alright, there wasn't.
I even love the fact, like you have Zfreek with his creep there. He doesn't even do it. It's like straight death ward.
Ahfu misses on the blink. Doesn't quite know where Limmp is. As Limmp melds, hides. Should be able to get out of here as Ahfu is still kind of looking around, seeing if there's an opportunity here to be made, but there isn't.
So the only safe place for the TA to be is just to go into LFY's jungle. Meanwhile, Kyle, like the second someone reveals himself in lane, they have to be worried. Like blink initiation, toss initiation. If you get amplified, then any of those stats, any of that extra armor you think you have to survive, it just doesn't exist. And Complexity have no answer to that. I say amplified just because I'm going, what's it called? Mist or whatever it is now. Oh, there goes Ahfu. That's one way to get rid of it. Yeah, Corrosive Haze.
Yes, and a very easy kill for them, but same time Complexity, they need more than that. They need more than just the 4 position Slardar. The high ground, though, is taken by LFY. I think they're going to back out of this area. It's still a little bit scary for them to take these fights.
You do have Exorcism as well as Death Ward back up again, but there's no reason why you don't just regroup. Keep the lanes pressured out. But how far do you go? Like, do you just keep taking tier 2 towers? Do you try and force the fight while you have the Aegis the Immortal?
I think so. I don't know if you need to force anything too much, though. It's still scary. Like, if you get ravaged into the right kind of fight, the game can kind of reset. And in these 2-game series, it's very important that, you know, you clean up the game, make sure that you're going to win it. It's not like these best of 3s where, okay, guys, we messed up in game 2. Let's kind of reset. We're still the better team than them. You only get 2 chances to prove it.
Well, here comes LFY, smoked up. Ahfu and DDC. Support boys, ready to kill off that Razor. Paralyzing cast we've thrown out, and the Baldic. They have enough damage, and he'll pop from this.
The Onyx killing spree with the Exorcism.
Oh, now they fight Kyle. It's like, it's the cheese on the pizza right now. It just makes everything so tasty. Limmp adding pressure to the bottom lane. Ahfu does TP, yeah, he'll get the crush off, cancelling out the TP.
Oh no, he's amped up, and there's a tiny hunting him from behind. Limmp
cuts through the trees. There's your avalanche. It burns through so many defensive reaction charges, and Zfreek, he attacks from the tree lines, but there's not a lot he can really do. Defensive refraction back up for Limmp, and he blinks, but Ahfu, the toss! Oh, there's no way to escape. How do you run away from this?
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Or splinters in this case.
Yep. He throws that purification on for good measure as Moo. Haste it up, but feeds itself immediately by that Yule Scepter. And I think he's just reluctant to use his Ravage because, Toby, if you use a Ravage once in this game and it fails and you lose the fight, then there goes a lot of your hope. Like, that's the only thing I think holding LFY back from just, like, straight up going for it.
Oh, they're just going to kill him off the old-fashioned way then, Moo. Okay, maybe not. Kraken is too good. Yule Scepter up. DDC's got Paralyzing Cast Costabile. Tosses it out. Now the Baldic once more. Again, Corrosive Haze. They can just chain these really low cooldown and low mana cost abilities to get the picks when Complexity are out of position. Now no Ravage for 42 seconds because no Tidehunter for that long.
Don't even need Exorcism.
That's even scarier. Maybe that's the other reason too. You understand the second you lose the Tide Ravage, then you lose high ground. If you Exorcism is up, and then that Aegis Immortal is still available, like it's mid-racks. And Complexity aren't even coming back. They're actually letting their mid-racks fall. Templar Assassin is nearby, but they take the trade-off on the top.
There's absolutely no chance that they can fight that without their Tidehunter. They couldn't fight it.
They jump in. He said no chance, but they're giving it a crack anyway. Limp's almost down. Limmp is down. He won't buy back. They've already lost their melee rank. They just need some kind of consolation prize, but Ahfu is that box of chocolate. He'll go down to Chessie. But you've lost your mid lane of racks. You claimed a tier 1 tower up on top and some decent damage to the tier 2. But your TA died for a slaughter on top.
Yeah, not going to feel good about that trade. Well, maybe you are. Because they are, the nature of the game is they're down 9,000 gold. Trading a core for a support doesn't seem that bad anymore.
And you didn't blow Ravage to get the counter kill.
Yeah, you probably get another attempt at this, but it's got to be a good Ravage, Toby.
Yeah, it's going to be around Roshan as well. They need LFY in a choke point.
Yeah.
And if they give both Aegis and Cheese over to LFY in the next fight, then it looks to be done. Like, you're going to Ravage pop somebody. Fight now, Chessie initiated on Moo. There's your Ravage, but Monet, he was repelled. He didn't actually get touched at all, but Moo touched all over. 2 heroes down for Complexity, and now tossed forward in the Omni-Knight, slowing down Zfreek. Degen Aura, reduce the range, doesn't matter when you got tossed, you're right on top of them. And now the follow-up into Ogre through the layers of fat which protects him from the cold. Ahfu, such a quick fish, right behind the Ogre Magi. And Super coming in with the Exorcism. 4 heroes from Complexity here will die. Kyle is making him work for it though. But the push is moving towards the bottom tier 2 tower. So Ahfu and DDC can work together to kill off Kyle. Unless he can deny himself to something. Anything?
Another stun is going to land. The trap is there too. That's also going to connect. It's going to make things A little bit more difficult is Kyle.
What is this run?
I have no idea. There's two heroes that are just slowly chasing him. Nobody.
Eventually, it works against him though, because Ahfu.
He's out of mana now.
Yeah, okay. He's out of mana, and Ahfu is out of range, so we can't keep any ability on him. So the blink dagger comes off cooldown, and he closes the distance, and kill happens. But a good minute. A good minute wasted.
Yeah, they did. I mean, that was sick. He resets things a little bit. They were trying to go for that bottom push right after, but they were unable to do so. Maybe they still make it work anyways, but Super doesn't have that exorcism anymore.
LFY would love a pickup before they go up again. But you do actually have that timer, right? Like, you just wait for the next...
Oh, for sure. You can wait
for the next Roshan.
Yeah. You have Slardar Amp. Roshan's always a possibility for your team, and you do it quickly, too. I think in the last game it looked a little bit awkward for Complexity because they themselves had some difficulties going for Roshan.
Yep.
But LFY, they've got no issues doing it. Team with Slardar is always going to have the ability to do it.
Did I just see that wrong? Was that a heart coming onto the Tiny? Or was that Death Prophet? It's Tiny. Yeah, Tiny has a heart lined up.
Yeah, he's got it queued up. He just was like, if I don't get bursted, this fight kind of ends. And we saw how difficult it was for them to get the burst anyways. That was a pretty good Ravage. But even with that, they weren't able to kill anybody.
It just seems so sad that like you get the Ravage off, but you understand like someone's going to be repelled. In that case, it was Tiny. Like, Tiny was free just to beat the crap out of everybody, and now Inflame caught out Complexity. They have the damage.
Very nice kill for them. And now it's going to be Complexity to finally get a core kill. Desperately needed that to make something happen on the map right now. It's Kpii.
Yeah, they're coming for the tier 1. Money. Momentum.
Yeah, anything counts at this point.
Yep.
When you're down 12,000 gold and you're not even sure that you're going to win the late game, it's pretty important that you win these mini engagements at least.
Seems like a fantastic lane as well to get that with the movement of the Shrine a little bit further back. Complexity remove that front TP position of LFY to contest this Roshan. Now this is the moment they fight for. Chessie doesn't have his Storm available. Shiva's Guard from Super comes in close. Ravage removed. Catching the back line. Have they got enough damage to kill that Prophet? No! She'll get the Yulsa from the Paralyzing Cast bouncing through Roshan. Chessie will have to buy back into this fight, but Super and DDC, they're cleaning up the rest of Complexity. Roshan is low, and they're going for the mid. Ahfu, he wants Limmp. Meld, hiding. They know exactly where he is. Ping, 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 ping. Silence, and now bring him out of it. No. Meld, Taz, how many AoE abilities have you got left? Crush? Okay, you got enough of them. You'll get through them.
They finally bring him down.
Oh, they got more. They actually rooted Chessie. This will be a dive back from Chessie. Tossing in Super, closing the distance, and that should be the game. 70 seconds without the Razor. You don't even need Roshan now, and they're going for the tier 4 towers. They understand they got this game firmly shoved in the bag. Ignore the pips on the counter board. LFY, they got game 1, and they're looking to take this series 2-0.
Yeah, without a buyback available on the Razor, a little bit too much momentum loss as Limmp is going to buy back. There's no Ravage. They're still going to try to make the play forward as Ahfu is going to be their target, but nobody being brought down right now. Zfreek.
If they can defend this, if they can make him waste time, Limmp can kill off Ahfu in the back lines. Kyle, he's fighting underneath his own fountain. He's trying to survive this, but Monet, he doesn't give two hoots on that Tiny. He'll catch out more. They got the Paralyzing Cast out. TA still on the run. Moo trying to reduce that damage with the Anchor Smash, but it doesn't stop Monet with his Avalanche Toss combination. 4 heroes gone, and so is the game for Complexity. LFY, it was a wonderful showing in the second half of game 1, and game 2 was a